Hey, what's up? So, this is a customer that kind of became a friend over the years. They bought this stock. I think it's a 2019, and I'm their mechanic. So I've done this, um, all of this, um, and so I kind of wanted to make this. He's getting ready to go out on another trail. He's been down them all. It's been down the Rubicon, Moab, Devil's Backbone, you name it. It's been. He gets around. He works it. It's fun. He he really could be a stress tester for these because we live in the suburbs, and he drives it like a race car. So um, we kind of front run all the repairs. It seems like I had to figure out the rear axles all on my own. The bearings they're listed wrong. Just little stuff like that. All the axle bushings have been replaced. So it's kind of a hodgepodge of decent stuff for the price. And that's what custom is all about. And so I find I've been off-roading since the 90s. Like most people would skip school and go, I don't know, find girls or do drugs or whatever. Like I would skip school to go to the reservoir that they drained and go off-roading by myself, like all day. I love it. I love everything about it. It's very fun. So, but watching this industry for as long as I have, there's a whole lot of marketing and just emotional pleas and tying machines to archetypes of the human condition, and it's just kind of weird. So I'm making this because someone I know is kind of new and getting into off-roading, doing their own stuff, and so I would like to kind of give my thoughts on it. And so my thoughts are that you really think about and plan exactly what you're going to do with it, and build off of that. So like this one's mostly trails. It's a Jeep. It could be slightly top heavy. So he wants to do a lot of rock crawling, not so much mud focused, and so we don't need a big lift kit. We did enough to get 37s to get clearance, and we put these very heavy duty diff covers on. He has a very solid skid plate system that is extremely well used. And that's the strategy. So on his, don't want to be super top heavy on some of these cliffs. If you're mudding, being top heavy is not a big deal. You flip over, your buddy tops you back over with his toe strap. So just went with a rough country. I like the softer springs. Their control arms were terrible. They only lasted maybe a year on the bushings. He upgraded to these Alpine IRs. They were great quality. They've been on there for several years. Oh my goodness. Let's see. So we've tried a few different shocks. These Rubicon Expresses worked pretty well on the front. On the rear, they did not. So we swapped those out for Foxes. It's got a pretty good control kit. He does like lights, the winch in the front. So this grill here is not cosmetic. We're in Texas. These engines have a lot of heat. It's a 3.6 Pentastar. So and the cat converter is right there at the side of the engine. And there's not a lot of airflow from the factory. These were closed up. So once again, that's not a cosmetic. That's to get air out of there. This was chosen because it had more surface area for air to go in. And this hood was chosen because it has more air to go out. So in off-roading, it's all about function. And so a lot of the things that get tied to the archetypes is I'm neat, I'm big, I'm cool, I'm strong, I'm in charge, and I want to be big and tall or whatever. Well, that's the only reason to get big is for more ground clearance. But you want to maintain a low center of gravity. The only reason to get big, super fat tires is to, now I'm not talking height, I'm talking width, is to spread out your load. That's your contact patch. The entire weight of your vehicle divided by 4 sits on a few square inches. So if you're hitting, mud in a heavier truck, you got to have a fatter tire. You're going to sink. So in mud, ground clearance would be a different concern. It's going to be drag as you're trying to go through, a semi-solid liquid or whatever. Whereas ground clearance on a trail is about avoiding being punctured by rocks and breaking axle tubes and tie rods and things of that nature. So all trucks look neat, but it's really dependent on what you're going to do with it, where you live, do they rust, how long do they last. That's going to matter on accessories also. We're able to get away without painting these. We don't live near the coast. We're right in the central Texas on the edge of the plateau. And by knowing what he was going to do with it, we're able to plan and protect everything. So there's very little damage. Very little damage. It's from like rocks getting thrown, things getting lodged in there, whatever. But you can see here, that protects that. So that's me in a semi-red reflection. Hello. Sometimes. So let's see. So I was just in here and I've turned this a little bit. So, no, maybe not. But we just wired in turn signals. So like this was dremeled off and repainted with engine spray paint, right? So there's a lot of things that are just almost tractorish, and I say that in the sense of you're on the farm, you just make it work, get it done, and keeping it kind of like field repairable is what they would say in the military. You can fix it on the trail. So that does wane, with the newer vehicles every year almost, with the electronics. So one example here where I didn't really know, and I could have made a better decision, but I didn't know the full plan. So I think this might actually be a Rubicon Express lift. I think I said rough country. It's a Rubicon Express. And once again, I chose that one because it has a little bit of the softer springs. They don't have that hard variable at the end. But he ended up putting a tent on here later on. So, having known that at the beginning, I would have chosen probably a different kit, So, but yeah, it's really, what are you going to do with it? And what mitigates it being hit while you're doing with it? What mitigates your particular vehicle from sinking while you're doing it? Another thing is you don't really want odd tire sizes. Eventually maybe you're gonna go on a trip with your buddies or something, you're gonna get a flat, you got a weird tire size, you gotta wait 3 days to get it in. You got a regular 37 or something that fits a standard truck. Now for someone up north in Canada or something, you may want to consider standard tire chain sizes too also. So you don't want to get a tire that's going to have like some weird ass tire chain. You want to get one. What's the standard size tire chains that Feed and Farm or whatever they call stores around wherever. You should try to get a tire around that size. Things like that. So it's really I really try to come at it pragmatically and utilitarian, and stay away from people's opinions that are generally trying to sell you something, even to affirm their ego in some way. It's like, what does it do, and does it do it the best? So I equate it to like anybody can build a bridge. An architect and an engineer can build it with the least amount of materials, and that's kind of what professional off-roading is. So all right, well, there's a 10-minute ramble on off-roading. So good luck. It's a fun hobby.